All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Pat Brady. Pat, how we doing?
What's up, Crazy Kev?
Doing good, Pat. And talk us a little bit more about what's next with you and your last performance in bare knuckle, man.
I, as of right now, it looks like there's some more bare knuckle down the pike. I don't have a set date for it, but there is something being worked on. So yeah, that's the plan. Do a couple more bare knuckles and see where this takes me. I know from what I've been told, the promotion wants to kind of move forward with some fights for me. So
yeah, no, that's definitely sick. And with that being said, I mean, what's it like to go out there and compete in bare knuckle? And what was the transition like from MMA to bare knuckle?
I mean, the transition's been smooth, right? Like, at least for me, because I didn't really transition from MMA to bare knuckle. I transitioned from injury to bare knuckle, because I tore my ACL, MCL, and my meniscus in the PFL tournament actually a year ago at this time. And I kind of just was out from that. So when I came back, I never really went back to the jiu-jitsu or the wrestling or any of that because my knee couldn't really do it. So it was just kind of straight back to the stand-up, right, without the kicking and stuff. So it wasn't really a bad transition or a hard one because I just kind of came back straight to boxing. So it was good for me. And then, the change in the length of the rounds, my cardio wasn't exactly where it needed to be because, I hadn't been doing those 5-minute rounds in the gym. So, for me, it worked. 2-minute rounds. Shit, man, that's nothing compared to what I do.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And what is it like to compete in bare knuckle? How's the promotion treating you? How do you like everything so far?
Listen, man, I'll tell you what. I can't speak highly enough about the promotion. And look, the PFL is what it is, right? Like they're doing what they're doing, and without badmouthing them, the problem is that you have to kind of badmouth them when I talk about my experience with the PFL is it wasn't a good one, right? Like, and I don't care if they see this, whatever. It just is what it is. It wasn't a good one. I felt like so they had the Bud Light Lounge, right? And they had this thing, what was the Celsius Lounge, right? At the PFL Atlanta. And I'd never really talked about this live or with anyone, right? I've never kind of said this in public or, to any media or anything. But when I tore I fought in Atlanta and I tore my ACL. And you go in the back and you go see the doctor and, he does the Lockman's test and he's like, yeah, you definitely tore your ACL, because he could feel the stability was gone. I was hungry, because I didn't really eat that much previous leading up to the fight, maybe a protein bar or two. And then, your adrenaline dump is out now. It's like, you're hungry. And they had the Celsius Lounge there with a bunch of Chick-fil-A sandwiches, right? And so I hobble over to the Celsius Lounge that's on a lower level to try to go get a sandwich because I could see them. They had this roped off area with the Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And I tried to go in there and they told me, no, you can't come in here. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you can't come in here. You don't have a wristband. I'm like, you see that cage right there? That's on the floor that, why you guys are here? It's like, I was just in it fighting. Like, what are you talking about? I can't come in there. I'm literally the fighter that you guys are here to see. And the PFL staff themselves was like, no, You can't go in there. And there was one lady specifically that, had a kind of a bigger role within the promotion that herself, like she was like, I don't know what to tell you. You're not allowed back. You're not allowed in the Celsius Lounge. And I'm like, I just want a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't even drink. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going to go back there and drink like your top shelf liquor.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I just fucking blew my leg out for this promotion, to put on a show, and you're telling me I can't go in there and get something to eat. And then, I was like, okay, so I tried to go over to the Bud Light Lounge because they had food in there. And again, I was told I wasn't allowed in there, right? And because that was where the winners went, the winner of the fight. So if I had won the fight, I would have been allowed to go in the Bud Light Lounge and get something to eat. Gotcha. And I just felt like, and again, this wasn't something that I wasn't told it wasn't like a little shitty security guy like standing outside the Bud Light Lounge. Like, this was PFL brass, right? Told me, no, you're not allowed in there, right? And I just felt like I was discarded. Like, I was hungry, you know what I mean? And there was nothing I wasn't looking for special treatment. I wasn't looking for any. I just felt like I was discarded, like I was a piece of trash thrown off to the side. And that was my experience with the PFL, that like I came, I fought, I got injured, and then I was fucking shooed away. Shoot, get out of here. You know what I mean? And it stuck to me. It really stuck to me. And, not to mention like how I had felt like it was unorganized. My fight with I was supposed to fight in Las Vegas, and I was supposed to fight this I think he was Polish guy or Russian, Michael Andrazak. And I was training for this freaking guy. That's another thing. For like 3 weeks. I didn't get my opponent until 3 weeks before. So it's not like, I had a lot of advance notice on who I was fighting, but I get my opponent 3 weeks before the fight. And I'm training for him, and they fly this dude in from Russia with a bad eye exam. Like, whatever eye exam that he handed in wasn't good, right? And so they made him get an eye exam in Las Vegas, and it turns out like he had a bad eye. And I'm like, you guys flew this fucking dude in from Russia with a bad eye exam? Yeah. Like, who dropped the ball on this guy? Like, he wasn't vetted. Like, nobody went through his medical paperwork, saw that eye exam, and was like, oh, it needs to be done by an ophthalmologist, not like some Russian doctor who like walks the streets of fucking, St. Petersburg, whatever. I don't, like whatever. He had an eye exam that wasn't done by the right eye doctor, and it wasn't vetted. And then when he got here, they got it done by the right eye doctor, and he failed. And to me, it's like, I'm thinking, as a multi-million-dollar business, why didn't they vet that? Like, why didn't someone go through his medical paperwork and say, bing, that's a bad eye exam. We shouldn't even fly this dude in from Russia. You wasted a fucking plane ticket from Russia for him, for his cornerman, the hotel room. I don't know. It's probably $10,000 wasted. And all you had to do is pay somebody $100 to go through his paperwork. Yeah, it just seemed very unorganized. The whole thing felt very unorganized. But to answer your question, bare knuckle was the complete opposite. I had literally a point man from the day that I was told we're gonna give you a fight. I had a phone number and a person that I could talk to that helped me through the entire process. That I knew who my opponent was weeks ahead. right? Like I knew everything I needed to know leading up to. And when I got there, they gave me like the red carpet treatment. They just, and it wasn't for me anything special for me. Everybody was just treated so well, you know. Everything was taken care of. Everything was taken care of. And I brought my son, my 13-year-old son. They made sure he sat literal front row. They gave him a lanyard, and he watched my fight from front row. Now, obviously, after my fight was over, right, like he went with me, um, and a front row seat is like reserved for like investors, But they had my son there, and it was just, I'll tell you what, man, I can't say enough good things about bare knuckle in comparison to my experience with the PFL. Now, look, maybe there's other guys who fought for the PFL who were treated differently, which is totally possible. Like maybe other guys' testimony will be totally different from mine. But my experience was not a good one with the PFL at all. And it is what it is. And bare knuckle, man, I'll tell you what, as a result of how they treated me and mostly how they treated my son, you know, they have my, for sure, 100%. They were great, man. They were great, and the show was crazy. I don't know how many thousand people at Mohegan Sun Arena. It was like I think it was 5,000 people at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut, and the place was loud, and the production was crazy. Everything was top notch, top to bottom. Everything was top notch. Again, not the bad mouth the PFL, but I think there were like fucking 500 people in the building at in Atlanta at whatever arena that they played at. It was like a basketball place, the OTE, Overtime Elite Arena or something. I mean, the place was beautiful. OTE was beautiful, but like there was 500 people there at the most. At the most, you know what I mean? I could hear my coach's corner. I could hear my coaches talking to me, put it that way.
Yeah.
But at Mohegan Sun Arena, I couldn't hear myself think. That's how loud the place was. It was crazy. Those fans wanted blood, man. They wanted blood. And, imagine what kind of fan goes to watch a bare knuckle boxing show.
Oh yeah.
That fan wants to see some crazy shit, and
oh yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, look, man, that bare knuckle is gruesome, right? Like you get hit with a closed fist. Look at this thing.
Oh yeah.
The fucking meat hook. It was crazy, man. And they were great to my quartermen. I had Chris and Kyle Dawkins out there with me. I had my buddy John Mercurio with me, and it was a great top to bottom, even with the win, right? Like the bare knuckle found me a worthy opponent in Lewis Rumsey. Like as soon as I got the call, as soon as my opponent got hurt and I got a new opponent, I got a call right away. Boom. Hey, we got you a new guy. What do you think? I said yes. They called me and I said, I got the phone call from my point man, and they're like, hey, I was like, let me guess, my opponent's out. They're like, yeah. I was like, yes, I'll fight him. And they're like, we didn't even give you a name yet. I'm like, no, the answer is yes. You didn't have to give me a name. I'm going to fight him because that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. And it comes to be Lewis Rumsey, who, is also a Pennsylvania native and game opponent, man. That dude had 28 MMA fights, 4 bare knuckle fights. He was the main event for bare knuckle 1, fought Rico Rodriguez, like a total game opponent. And look, he came off the couch, right? He might not have been in the best shape, but he showed up to fight, and that guy had won bare knuckle fights before, right? Like he's had his hand raised in the square circle. So it was good, man. It was, I'll tell you what, bare knuckle was everything and more. in comparison to, the other big promotion that we had talked about.
Yeah,
Sorry, that
no,
was a long-winded answer, man, huh?
that's all good. No, I definitely appreciate all the.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's some insight for you, right? Like that's
oh,
some
yeah,
like real shit, Kev. Right?
yeah,
That's as real as it's gonna get. Like that's that's the truth. That's my experience with the PFL versus my experience with bare knuckle, and I wasn't being treated special like I wasn't. I wasn't. I'm not anything special to bare knuckle. I mean, I am because I'm the shit. But but look, I tell you what, man. After I saw the way that, and every person who worked, all the BKFC staff, top to bottom, like every time they met my son, like someone shook his hand, looked him in the eye, like, and what's this young man's name? You know what I mean? Like, nice to meet you. And like, are you excited for your father? Are you proud of your father? Like everybody engaged in conversations with my son. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it was just, I'll tell you, it was great, man. It was special. The bare knuckle staff really were top notch, top notch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it, and I always enjoy watching the bare knuckle fight. So I'm glad you are having a good experience with it. And another thing you mentioned too, getting back to your son. I obviously I follow them on Instagram because I've trained there a bunch of times on Saturdays, and they have the sparring classes. But your son's trained over at Studio X. Talk to us a little bit more about training with Steve McCabe and Devin, and how that's going with him.
Dude, I listen, man. Steve and Devin are great. It's funny
Oh,
too
yeah.
because my son actually, so he was living with his mother over in Brookhaven on Edgemont Ave, which is coincidentally where Studio X is located. But he's moving over with me now, right? So over in the South Jersey, so he's going to be going to high school with me over here.
Okay.
But at the time, leading up to this week, he was living at his mom's, which is in Brookhaven, which is so Steve and Devin, I know, right? Like I know them from 302. I know Steve and Devin, right? Like there's staple points in the Philadelphia region for MMA, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
combat sports. Everybody knows Steve McCabe and Devin, right? And when I saw that they were opening a school, right? Because they were at 302 and then they opened a school up here. When I saw that they were opening a school, I knew exactly where my son was going to go. As soon as I saw them opening a school. So I messaged Steve and I said, dude, congrats. You're opening a school. My son lives down the street from the school. Like he could walk there. I said, I'm signing him up. So my son was actually the first student at Studio X. Not the first kid student, the first student. He was the first enrolled student at Studio X. And I have videos of him training there, and the wall mats aren't even up yet, right? Like they're day one. He's a day one guy, right? Like I think there's him and then like Steve's daughter training at the first class. I have videos of the first class at Studio X, and again, man, they treat my son great. Like Steve and Devin, I can't say enough good things about them. They're just good people, family people, and like when you talk to Steve, man, like he doesn't talk bad about anybody. Or, you know what I mean? Like you get around people, like me who just talk shit on the PFL. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you like Steve doesn't have anything bad to say about anybody, and they're just good family people. Get creating a family atmosphere, and they're just it's like I can't even. You come across people that are just good, right? That are just they're good people, and that's them over at Studio X, right? And I've been to schools where you go like this guy's a little squirrely, right? His breath smells like booze, and he's supposed to be my coach, and I've been at those schools too, where you're like, how is this guy teaching fucking kids? And I smell booze on his breath. Those are out there. They're out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and not there, man. Not Steve, not Devin. They're just really good, and they're fucking great martial artists, man. You know what I mean? Like Steve's a black belt jiu-jitsu. They both are highest level Muay Thai, from Andy Russell over balance, right? Like they're listen, man. That's really good MMA, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu over there at Studio X for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely an awesome gym. Like I said, I was sparring over there a little bit. I always loved training over there. And like you said, Steve and Devin are definitely some awesome people. I can't say enough good things about them. I actually did an interview with Steve not too long ago. I haven't posted it yet, but that was a lot of fun talking to him. He's definitely a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And another thing about you too is you got a little bit of a renovations company. Talk us a little bit more about that and some of your favorite things that you've done with it.
Yeah, I mean, so my renovations company is Renovations by Brady, and we do kitchen, bathrooms, basement remodels. I've done a couple additions, uh, exteriors. Basically any home renovation that you have going on, decks, patios. We come out and we take care of it. I get a couple guys that work for me. We're a small shop. We're not really too big, but there's a couple guys that work for me, and one of them actually fights. Babu Liadze, who trains over at Marquez MMA. He works for me. I know he's not going to be working for me too much longer because that man's going to get signed by the UFC. So I know he's he's on the short list of the Renovations by Brady employees, but I'll tell you what. Listen, man. You can't compare people to that guy. He works. That dude works so hard, and he works all day, and then he goes in and he trains at night. And then, when he is in camp, when he does have a fight, he takes a couple weeks off from working so that he can focus on his camp. And then, he's right back to work. And even while he's in camp, like he works a couple Saturdays here and there. And the dude's just a dog, man. And it's cool for me because I get to mix both lives. I have my fighting career, and then I have my career. And I have guys like Ito on the job site every day that we get to talk. We get to talk fighting. Not to mention, it's him, right? He's a 5-0 pro, MMA. He's the Ring of Combat welterweight champion, and he fights and trains with guys like Sean Brady over there, Jeremiah Wells, Pat Sabatini, Andre, all those guys, right? Like, who else? I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Joey Pfeiffer, right? Yeah. Like, Ito's over there with those guys that are killers, and it's cool, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely pretty cool. And, being from the Philadelphia and Jersey area, what's maybe some funny, if you have any street fighting memories, if possible.
Street fighting memories. Yeah, so I was a bouncer at this little bar called Dirty Nelly's over in on Day Boulevard, and in Delaware County, and there was these two girls, right? One girl was really, really drunk, and then the other girl was sober. She wasn't drinking at all. So the sober girl had come over to me and said, like, can you help me, as the security, can you help me get my girlfriend out to my car? I'm going to drive her home. She was really drunk. So I'm, sure, that's fine, whatever. Like, you're not drinking and driving, right? No. Okay. So I bring her out. I bring her out to the car, and she's like leaning on me, right? Like drunk. And I bring her over to the car. I open the door, and there's this group of like 5 or 6 dudes. They start yapping at me, saying that, oh, you're going for the easy ones, the drunk ones, you creep. Like, you're trying to bring home the drunk girl. It looked like I was bringing the really drunk girl home because, like, I'm carrying her to the car, and they didn't recognize that I was staff and that I was just bringing her to the car. Like, I wasn't going home with her. And I basically told the dude to go fuck yourself in so many words. So they started yapping back at me. So of course we're yapping back and forth. And one of one of my coworkers comes outside, and he sees what's happening. Me arguing with these 5 dudes, and one guy specifically was more yappier than the rest, and he kind of gets in my face a little bit, and whatever, it dies down, and he tries to turn around and walk away. So my buddy starts like gassing him up, like, "Oh, dude, you like." Well, you're walking away, like kind of like telling him, like, you shouldn't walk away. You're being a bitch. And so the guy comes back and he takes off his watch and he gets in my face. And I hit this guy with one punch that, like, it was like a cartoon. He hit the ground and he slid in the blacktop. I swear, it was like a cartoon, man. He hit the ground and slid. And I've never seen somebody like hit the ground so hard that they slid. It was really funny to watch. But yeah, that's that's a memory that I've kind of burned into my my fighting street fighting life because I was scared. I was scared that I hurt that dude. And I mean, it would have been consensual, right? Like we both like squared up. Like he was like this, his hands were up, and my hands were up, and like we were squared up to fight. And I hit him with an overhand right that, I put him in orbit. Like, yeah. And the crazy thing is this is before I even was a professional fighter. Like this is before I'd even trained like anything combat sports at all. Right? Like I'd never, I didn't have any real training. This was just me being, ridiculously strong.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
No,
it makes sense. Yeah, that's one of my memories.
Now, with that being said, too, being a guest from the Philly, Jersey area, too, do you happen to have any sort of like road rage incidents that you kind of remember, too?
No, nothing crazy. I think one guy, like, he was yelling at me and he got out of his car, right? Like, I'm looking in the mirror, and this wasn't too long ago. This was maybe like last year, and he got out of his car, and I'm like, this motherfucker, because he was like beeping on his horn and stuff. And I'm like, this motherfucker's really getting out of his car. So I get out of my car. I just yelled at him and pointed, get back in your fucking car. And he saw me and he turned around and got back in his car.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, and I wasn't going to do anything, but I just, like, if he came near my door, he was going to get fucked up. But like, I think I saw it and got in front of it and just kind of politely told him to get back in his car. And he smartly obliged.
Yeah, no, good for him. And with that being said, I mean, I like to ask everyone I bring on the show this question. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years, training for 19 years, and I'm only 24 years old. So I love martial arts and I love what I do. And with that being said, with all the different guys I have at my gym, what advice do you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to keep on getting better and better every day?
Just stay consistent, man. Just stay consistent. I'm sure you hear that one a lot. Just stay consistent. Yeah. Like, there's going to be times when you don't want to go, but you got to go. And you just got to stay consistent. It's really easy to not go for 2 weeks. It's really easy. It's really easy. And then going back is hard. You just stay consistent. Even if you go 1 day a week, go that 1 day. Have a day that you go. No matter what, that's the day that you go. You never miss that day, no matter what. Whatever the situation is, you're there. Unless you're on fucking vacation, you go. That's my advice. Pick a day and always go on that day. And then, just stay consistent. You got to go. So yeah, that's my advice.
I like it. No, I definitely got some solid advice. And, speaking of messages, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Fucking watch combat sports. They're fun as fuck. Like, look, there's nothing like watching a fight. Nothing. This is how you know. When you watch a hockey game, what's the most fun part about a hockey game? When
Scoring
they
the
get
goals.
into
Big hits too.
when they get into a fight, when they drop the gloves, everybody's like, oh, they're about to fight, right? That's the most exciting part about a hockey game. Like, there's goals. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of goals. But when two guys fucking drop the gloves and they square up, everybody gets on their feet. That's the most exciting part. Same thing, you're watching basketball. The best part about a basketball game is when, there's a ruckus, right? Like somebody blocks somebody or somebody pulls somebody or fouls somebody. So now they're about to fight, right? That's the most exciting part. Same thing in baseball. Most exciting thing in baseball is when the catcher fucking, or is when the batter gets hit by a pitch and storms the mound. And then all the bench is clear, right? That's the most exciting part of baseball.
Oh yeah.
So why even wait for that? Just tune into fights. Just watch the fights. And then you get to see two guys compete in something that's the end all be all. Fighting is the end all be all. It's not like Rogan says it all the time. It's like, it's not like two guys get into a fight and one guy loses and the other one says like, yeah, well, I could kick your ass in basketball, right? Like, it doesn't work that way. But if you lose a basketball game, if you play each other in basketball, one guy you'd be like, yeah, congrats, you beat me in basketball, but I could just fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right? So that it's the end all be all. Fighting is the end all be all. So tune into fighting because it's the final product of the best of all sports.
Yes. No, I definitely agree with you, man. And it's been awesome watching you in bare knuckle, and we're looking forward to what's next to you, my man. And thank you so much for coming on the show, and happy Father's Day too, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And so enjoy the rest of your day, and
Thanks,
we're looking forward to what's next. Yeah, hopefully we can do another one in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take care.